Hey everybody, and welcome again to another episode of Wish You Were Beer, a weekly show where we check in a new beer, go through some history and facts or some trivia on said beer or said brewery, and have a little bit of fun in between. Hopefully, we'll see. The night is young.
Started great. Off to a great start. Oh, I hope you guys have fun.
That being said, if you really enjoyed that intro, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button because obviously there's a lot more where that came from.
Right. Good times.
But no, down in the comment section of the video is a like and subscribe button. It'd be great if you would hit both of them, maybe even share them. I don't know what everybody does on the internet now. Also down in that same section, we have our Untappd handles, both for the show and individually. And those of you who may not be familiar with Untappd, it is a beer review app that allows you to check in beer, keep track of all your beers you've checked in, where you've had your beer,
who you're checking it in with.
So there's a lot of different
fun things. You can toast each other.
You can toast each other, which is nice.
It's like having a beer with someone.
You might have already said that.
Exactly. So Untappd is great. That's what we use to check in all our beer. So you can follow us individually and you can follow the actual show as well. And then also below that is our beer drop. Beer drop is the program that we use so that we can get beer delivered and we can have the same beer for the show despite being in different places. So it's a really great subscription-based service. That is way harder to say than I thought it was going to be.
Subscription service.
Yeah, and Sally's getting seashells down at that seashore year round. But basically, Beer Drop is a subscription service that allows you to get beer, and they send you beer. You can pick and choose. You can add extra beers to it. The link down at the bottom gives you a $10 discount on your first order, and also gives us a $10 discount. So when you're done going through all of that, please give us a discount. Now, that being said, as always, I am Daniel. As always, this beautiful lady is my equal partner in crime, Tiffany. And the gentleman on the moon is Phil, still there.
Hey, Phil, what's up?
No.
Sorry, things take a while to get on the moon. So I do apologize about that.
There was actually a second where my heart dropped, and I was like, well, shit, that's the show.
I don't know how to do it. Phil's the person who runs the whole thing.
You know what? I didn't even think of that. I'm not going to give myself credit for that. This guy, he talked this week, and he gave me that idea. So,
and here you thought he only sits around.
I know. But you know what? He wrote it in the dirt and didn't actually talk to me because he's still refusing. Yeah. So, we're getting closer. I have a feeling we'll be talking in no time.
I think that's fair.
I'm excited for you.
You've also gone with a, I don't know, kind of a casual button down that almost looks like it may be all the way unbuttoned with the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I specifically chose this because of one of the beers tonight, and I felt like it matched one of the beers, even though I'm not having it. I know you guys are having it, so I wanted to feel a part of it.
Okay.
So that is the open, and then you got to see the beard go right into the chest hair. That's important, especially when you can braid it all in.
Oh God!
Oh, good.
But that's my chest and beard podcast on Sundays. So
Sundays, right? Because
I'm plowing through
Rocket League on Mondays.
Plowing through all the jokes as fast as possible.
Get them all out of the way. Oh, that's good.
How was your guys' week? I heard things are great. Well, how is everything going?
I think you guys text different than us because no, it was not great.
It's been a long week. I'll go into it later during our last segment because that's my wish.
Tiffany's got a whole wish you were beer week. Like not one thing.
Yeah.
She loaded heavy.
We'll go with my week later. Daniel just worked, which I assume also is just not his favorite.
Well, we're gonna have to do like a separate show because another post just about Tiffany's week. That'll be another one.
I'll run you through it. There's I think you need 2 hands.
But you guys went to Virginia Beer Company this week, and you did a little video for everyone who may have missed it or hasn't seen it yet. There's an additional post this week. You guys were in the back room there.
We were.
Yes, we were in the brew house area and near all the fermentation barrels, which is my favorite personally because they make all my favorite beers.
True story.
But yeah, it was great. They let us set up in the back and just do a quick taste test of 2 of their new beers that we haven't had yet. So it was less than a 10-minute ordeal, so to speak.
What was the one name of that beer? What was the one you were drinking, Daniel? It was
Big Day Tomorrow.
Big Day Tomorrow. It's a great beer.
It was a table beer, so it was only a 2% beer, which is.
So if you've got a big day.
Big day, have that beer.
The one, like, can't be hungover tomorrow. I got a big day tomorrow.
Knowing my dumbass, I'd still drink like 10 of them and then just be like, well, that was
the same day then. Yes. Still not my greatest night.
Yeah.
Which is impressive on 2%, but no, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Anyway. So what are we doing this week? What beer are we drinking? Who are we talking to?
Oh, wait. Yeah. So we'll get into the beers we're drinking.
Do we talk to Phil about his week? Did I just skip you, Phil?
Yes, 100%.
Oh, Phil, I'm so sorry. Just add it to my list. Well, add to my list of things I've done wrong or have gone wrong.
I think it was payback for cutting you off so harshly last week
or literally every week with a.
Well, last week was harsher than most, I will say. I was a little off last week, which I will admit and apologize for. So it's
the start of this week. So
I had a good week, and I'll get actually more into it as well in my which you are actually beer category. I'll talk a little bit more, but got out of the city this week, which was fantastic. It's always nice, especially during this time. And went out to Gloucester, not Virginia, or else I would have said hi to you guys. I went to Gloucester,
Massachusetts. If you were in Gloucester and you didn't call me, I'm gonna hit you.
No, I was at the real Gloucester, Massachusetts, with the Wicked Tuna guys. That's where I was.
Want to get into dates and when the country was started, I think.
No, I'm gonna go with me. I don't do a lot of history. I'm not good at math or history, but where I was born is around Gloucester, so that's the real one to me.
I can't believe I don't have a Phil is rambling button on my end of things, because I would have 100% just cut you off.
Well, seeing as I create them, that's why I know. Have one. Yeah.
Okay, so now, what are we doing? Who are we talking to?
You tell me.
Okay. So, if you can't tell by all of our paraphernalia over here, we are drinking Stone this week. So, if you've been following us, you should have gone out and purchased yourself a Stone beer. If you didn't, I'm sorry. Hopefully, your beer is at least decent.
And if you are drinking one, let us know.
Correct.
Talk about it for sure.
Right. And because we have awesome friends, we actually have Melissa Bailey on with us. And here she is.
Look at that timing.
She works for Stone.
Hey, Melissa, thank you for coming on our show.
Yay, thank you.
Thanks for letting me hang out.
What is your actual job at Stone?
The best.
I think I should know. Yeah, and I think I should know this answer, and I really don't.
Man, what is my actual job? I'm trying to think of a fun way to put this. So a lot of people think that I'm promo girl, right?
Okay.
Which I'm not.
A lot of people think
sometimes.
I'm a promo girl too. So
in my copious amounts of free time, I really love standing in Total Wine for 3 hours, begging people to buy beer from them. But what I actually do is run lots of reports and talk to on-premise, so restaurants, bars, about Stone beer and how it can make them more money and make their customers happier.
And so really, at the end of the day, this is, and I did know what you do for a living, Melissa. I didn't mean to undercut that. But I think it's interesting because when I talk to beer reps, I feel like you guys always know way more about the beer because you're consistently trying to sell it outside of the brewery.
Yes.
Which is crazy to me because inside the brewery, I walked in there. You don't have to sell me the beer. I'm here. I came here. Outside the brewery, you got to really sell a beer. You got to know it forwards, backwards, which is crazy.
Well, and I think something that a lot of people don't know about beer reps too is that, we have to know a lot about our product, but we also have to really understand the competition and exactly the portfolios. And there's a lot of moving pieces and parts because of the 3-tier system, which I don't know if you guys have ever talked about on the show, but it makes moving the actual liquid around really hard. And so we have distributor partners that we have to make sure we're not undercutting. And it's just a whole big ordeal, but it's a lot of fun because it makes putting out fires like the action of the day.
I was going to say that actually doesn't sound like fun to some degree, but yeah,
I'm a problem solver by nature, so.
Right. That makes sense. So how long have you been there?
I've been with Stone for almost 4 years.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, I have the question everyone's wondering. Do you get unlimited Stone?
So actually, I know a lot of people in the industry, and I would say that I make a strong argument that Stone has the best employee beer program in the business. We have I'm not even sure if I'm allowed to talk about this. But
we don't have to. That's fine. We'll just keep going. We don't want to get you in trouble.
It's so cool. No, I'm going to say it anyway because it's so amazing.
Risking her job for our show.
We get a case of beer a month plus 3 6-barrels, which are the small skinny ones, or a half barrel a month.
So you get 3 separate sixels?
Yes.
So you get 1 day's worth of beer a month. I don't know. Not that impressed, I guess.
We just make it so that everyone we know having a party is always hitting us up. Hey, I know that you get a lot of free beer. Can you give me a keg?
It's good to know. We haven't been using this friendship thing well.
Yeah, true story.
Yeah, if you've got a kegerator, man, I'm all for it.
I do not. However,
I can make one.
How do you guys not have a kegerator yet? With how much beer you drink?
Phil, there's a lot of moving parts to our lives, and kegerator hasn't come into play yet.
We're working on it, man. Just
but Bob Ross glasses are super important at the moment.
Bro.
All right.
Yes.
But did you see it?
But did you see the glass?
And it's got a little rainbow paint on the other side. It's great.
Anyway, it's great.
It's my new favorite class.
So listen, due to the week that we have had,
yes, true story.
Unfortunately, I had to do more work on this show than I do at normal work, which is
impressive.
That's impressive. I pulled a solid 2 hours in preparation for this show, which is
maybe you might appreciate what I do.
Oh, absolutely.
Just throwing it out there.
Yes, 100%. So that being said, if the trivia questions seem a little weirder than normal, or maybe poorly written,
typos, it's not me. I literally did nothing this week because I was so busy.
I wouldn't go that far.
Or just so disoriented, distraught, busy. It was just, there was a lot. There was a lot that happened. So Daniel, being my wonderful equal partner in crime, stepped up because he loves me and did all of my work for me.
That being said, it's going to be awful. I apologize.
So we're going to mix kind of the history and facts tonight. Wait, I'm behind on my own thing.
We figured probably through the process of answering some of these questions that Melissa's probably going to give us a lot of some of the history and facts about the brewery anyway to begin with, just through some of the conversation.
So we're going to kind of mix the two together. So I'd like to first know, Melissa, if you, I mean, you've let me know if you don't know, but I'd love to hear some of the history of Stone from you. Because I've known this brewery for a long time, but I don't know the history of it. So, and I've even brought in a few little old school pictures just to give us a history feel, you know?
Yes. Okay. So, Steve and Greg have a really cool story about how they met. They were both in the music scene in San Diego. That's what they look like now for the most part.
Look great.
But and they decided that they wanted to embark on this journey of making good beer, just like solid beer with no preservatives and that's why they chose the gargoyle as the logo and sort of the mascot of Stone, because it has this deep, rich history in European architecture to protect, churches and stuff from evil spirits. And so we use the gargoyle to protect our beer from evil things like pasteurization. And,
that makes sense.
That's kind of their whole premise. So they met in the mid to late 80s, and they opened Stone on July 26th, 1996. And I'm probably giving away stuff though now.
It's okay if you give away the trivia questions, because we got to make sure our audience members are listening.
So, yeah, I really like it. So anyway, and it's really interesting. There are a lot of dynamic duos in big breweries that have been very successful over the years, and it's because the duo is so opposite. And the same is true for Greg and Steve. I mean, I've of course had the opportunity to meet and have beers with both of them, and they are they're wonderful people. Greg is super he's super Greg. There is not a human on earth like Greg.
Super Greg.
So I have to interrupt you for a second, because I want to know, because I did want to know about this. Is this Greg right here? Beer Jesus?
That's Greg. Mm-hmm.
What's Beer Jesus? I have to know.
Yeah, Phil, this is Phil's only question, by the way. He was like, whatever we talk about, I want to know what the hell this is.
So the second you said Greg, I'm like sitting here going, I'm listening, but I got to know about Beer Jesus. What is this?
So I'm going to own this real quick. I have not watched that film.
Okay.
It is an actual film. I thought maybe it was like a marketing thing, like they were just making a joke.
So Stone fans have been calling Greg the Beer Jesus for a long time because of his persona, right? He kind of has this way of preaching at you when he talks about beer and its purity, and he is really passionate about the quality of beer and staying true to the roots of beer. So there's that. And then because of that, he really wanted to open a Stone brewery in Germany, in Berlin. And because
that's where Jesus is from,
American craft beer for the most part, where they did. And because the beer gets shipped to them and it's hot. So then by the time it gets there, it's oxidized or light struck and tastes like shit. And so Greg was like, I'm going to bring fresh American craft beer because it's good to Europe. And the film is pretty much a chronicle of how hard that was, how much it costs, and why it ultimately failed. So
interesting.
Yeah,
that's interesting though.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow. Okay.
And then Steve is like the dad of Stone, and I can't stop talking until I at least say that Steve is like, he's like, oh my God, he's just the nicest man that ever existed on the planet.
He's very Jesus. I like it.
No, that's right.
Well, you're talking about Steve.
And I was like, I'm talking about Steve. Yeah,
Which one's Jesus?
Sure. He's like
Greg.
I didn't want to say
like
grandpa, but he's kind of just, he has the gentle ease of conversation and the energy of just everybody's favorite grandpa. He'll sit and have a beer with you, and he'll give you good life advice, and he'll listen, and he's very calm and even toned, and he's awesome. So
I can totally see that.
And I actually had no idea where the gargoyle came from. And I've known Stone Beer and you for a long time. So
yeah, so now when you hear anybody say the devil, you can be like, bullshit.
I know, right? I'm going to call that.
I always wondered that too. So why didn't they go with gargoyle instead of stone? It's just stone sounds better.
Yeah, so I actually don't have good answers for that.
That's okay.
All right, show over.
And we're done.
When in doubt, take a sip.
I did notice that you guys also, once again, Melissa, you were so nice to send me all of the materials from Stone. So of course I spent hours digging through them, and then I was like, I'm going to bring up stuff that she probably has no idea anything about. So here we go.
Oh, yes.
Or hasn't thought about in
right.
the last 3 years since you've been doing it for 4.
So Stone it's based out of San Diego, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So you guys sponsor San Diego. You guys sponsor the soccer club? Is that still happening?
Yeah.
Are you a soccer fan?
My wife is.
Right.
Great.
So
I don't know shit about soccer.
Melissa,
Other than my wife is a ridiculously good soccer player, and she likes to kick the ball. So.
Does she like the San Diego Loyal Soccer Club?
not at
She
all.
was really pumped about the jerseys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you please get me a jersey? I was like,
That makes sense. Makes sense.
I'm not in San Diego. So no.
Do you guys have?
on my market?
Do you guys have a soccer team in Virginia?
We do. We played on it. It's a beer league. So no.
But Lucy and I traded off
Right.
playing forward-ish. It was kind of a whatever position attacking. They only allow so many women.
Tiffany knows a lot of soccer
No.
as
They
well.
only allow so many women on the field. So there was usually one in like the defensive half and one in the offensive half. Lucy and I traded off on the offensive half. So we were either a striker or like a upper midfield.
Mhm.
Anyway, I know enough about soccer that I can play it.
I just like that we prefaced the soccer league with they'd only allow so many women on the field, though.
Yeah, it
I'm
was
like, good lord.
Well, there have to be at least a certain number of women on the field. Your particular team only allows a certain number of women on the field at a time.
Well, it's a mixed gendered soccer team, and
Daniel,
so,
what position do you play?
Whatever one you want me to, Phil.
a lot of defense.
Careful.
A lot of defense. Don't touch me there. No. Quit it.
Careful, Daniel. I'm having a few dippas tonight, and it's going to get crazy. So,
Barely
Vera
they
says they have
in
a soccer
Argentina.
team in Argentina. What'd she say? Sorry, I missed that comment.
Oh no, I had no idea Argentinians played soccer. That's sarcasm.
They do. Interesting.
You guys are great.
All right.
Well, let's get into some of this trivia, and then we'll keep talking about the brewery itself.
Yes.
All right.
And I feel like Melissa answered this one for
She-
you people.
Definitely said it. If anyone was listening and knows the answer to what year was Stone Brewing founded,
I know. It's 96. Because I listened.
Tiffany is a great listener.
I am. One of my greatest skills.
so tonight's competition is between me and Tiffany.
Correct.
So,
and you're failing already.
Well, I mean, it's so hard because you guys know I always want to choose D, but I'm going with B tonight because I listened. 1996.
Correct.
That is correct.
Right, so 96, were they in the beer game prior to 96, but just figuring it out?
Yeah, I mean they were working on the whole ideas and plans, but they opened up they essentially sent their first keg to Pizza Port in like San Diego, near San Marcos.
Pizza Port, are they at all affiliated with Pizza Planet? Because I've heard good things about them.
I doubt it.
Are you sure? There's a little man who runs in a cup and a little man who runs in a burger box.
I'm with you on this one, Daniel. I'm pretty sure.
That's Pixar. You're thinking of Pixar.
God, Pixar has all my favorite things. Okay. All right. So, what is Stone's? Excuse me. What is Stone Brewing's flagship beer?
So let's
what is the
clarify
beer?
flagship really quick though.
Ooh,
Sure.
Okay.
So in this question, I think flagship is the first beer that we ever made, right?
Correct.
Is that what flagship means?
It's got a double meaning. It could be their best selling or like their beer that everyone knows them by.
Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that they continue to create year after year after year. Or it could be one of your earliest beers. So in this one, it's one of the earliest ones.
Okay.
Oh, it is. How do you know it's one of the earliest ones?
That's what you just said. I'm a good listener. Okay, so.
Well, I mean, the one they're most known for is the IPA because that's the one you see everywhere.
Right.
So, but if we're going first one, geez.
First one on this list.
What?
I'm
Right.
going with
on this list.
Yeah.
then A. It's the first one on the list.
I am gonna go with Saison because it is a really like traditional style of beer, as far as I'm aware. Even though the IPA game in California started way earlier than like the East Coast. But hold on. I don't like knowing. I don't.
You
like,
already made a decision, Phil.
Okay, I don't
your
like
answer.
this. I don't like being on the other side of this.
Right.
I've decided. Never again.
What are you going with?
Worst week ever. I don't like my answer. Continue. Sorry, Phil. What are you going with?
I'm going with A because she said first one on the list, so I'm sticking to it.
Okay. Anyone from the
Ride or
audience?
die.
This is a way better place to be in as me.
Right, it's
by the
right.
way. Yeah.
All right. No one has answered. Melissa, what is it?
Stone IPA.
Oh,
Correct.
I think when Daniel and I talked about these yesterday, I think I may have messed this up. So
No, I misunderstood, which is
so
fine.
Stone IPA is definitely our flagship beer. It was our first anniversary beer. So Stone releases an IPA every year on our anniversary. And Stone IPA was our first anniversary beer, and it has been Stone IPA, and it'll be 25 years this July.
Right.
So that's cool and exciting. Our first beer, which Daniel and I talked about yesterday, was Stone Pale Ale.
Right.
And, I thought that was an option on the thing.
It was not. I apologize.
That's my
Daniel,
bad.
Daniel, you do great.
I have.
Well, I can read, and it took me a minute to catch up.
I literally couldn't cheat because I couldn't read his handwriting. So I tried.
So why'd they go with the IPA instead of the PA, which I now call it?
So the Stone IPA, when it came out, it just did so well, and it has continued to do well, and it is still our top grossing brand in our house. So
It is a phenomenal beer.
Correct.
So,
Yeah, I mean, easy to find, awesome beer.
I
Really
think
fast.
the coolest part about Stone IPA for me is that people tend to gravitate away from it because there's so many new and exciting IPAs constantly being introduced to the market. So when you do grab that 6-pack and it's been a month or even 3 months since you've had one, you're like, oh, this is so good. And it just, regardless of whether you're into New England hazies or big double IPAs or whatever, you can pick up a Stone IPA, even if it's been a while, and be like, man, the quality of this beer is so good. So
Yeah.
And it's so consistent and it's just exactly what you want. Yeah,
Mhm.
for sure. All right. Now this one, I think Daniel's testing me with D on this one.
Nah, I know you go for the D, Phil. And
You know, I can't avoid it.
I
Can't avoid it.
want to clarify that we are talking about the United States, in which there are technically only 50, unless Puerto Rico and DC.
I guess
and then
that's
it'll be
up to the question.
52. I'm gonna go with 50. All 50 states have Stone.
I don't know. I'm still kind of feeling D. But I'll go with B as well. I think it's an all 50 because I think I've seen it in every state I've ever been in. So, Melissa,
you are correct. Although Tiffany is also correct because we are also distributed in Puerto Rico and DC.
So technically, the answer was E, and it was 52.
Semantics.
No, it's not. It's not.
50 plus 2.
Nope.
Oh.
No. I will do the math. Don't. I got you.
all right, last question. In what 2 countries outside the United States does Stone Brewing have tasting rooms? See, everyone knows. Joshua Hendricks, our music guy, he knows. He knows.
He's been giving you the D for years.
I love it.
It's like, wait, is it the drop D?
No, that's the
He's
bass because he's a musician.
Yeah.
Understood.
That
Yeah,
was a
Yep. Yep.
that was deep.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
a deep,
gonna go
that's a
with
deep D cut.
B. With B.
So you're going with England and Australia.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going with C because she had mentioned Germany earlier with
Like the listener, Phil.
with Jesus. He wanted to be in Germany, so I'm assuming he achieved his goal. I'm also going with that because of all the untapped check-ins I checked in. There was a lot of German.
See,
So
Nobody's going with Hoth. Nope. Okay. No, that's fine.
I was really pumped for Naboo, man. I was like,
right? Thank you.
What? Yes. No.
I'll travel there.
All right. So Phil's going C. Tiffany went B. Go ahead, Melissa.
Joshua's going D.
Naturally.
C is the correct answer. We have
Boom.
rooms in downtown Berlin, Germany, and also in Shanghai, China.
So,
Wow.
question, because
Neither of those are in England or Australia.
because you mentioned, and this is where my listening may not have actually done well for me. You mentioned that he ultimately failed in bringing the beer to Germany in that movie, and that's what that portrayed.
Right, but
So
now
The movie
so-
failed.
The project ultimately failed, but we did open the brewery, and it was open and operational for a little over a year. It was like a year and a half, almost 2 years, I guess. And then we sold it to BrewDog. Actually, just a few months before the pandemic, I think. It actually did really well, but the amount of production that we needed and sales that we needed in order to maintain the volume to pay the staff and have all the ingredients and stuff, it just wasn't working out. And Stone is one of the larger craft breweries that is still considered craft, that it has a really strong equity. Like we're really settled and financially stable. And so, like, as an employee, I find that to be a huge benefit of Stone. So it was a wise decision ultimately. But what we pivoted to in downtown. Yes. So in downtown Berlin, so we have a Stone dedicated tasting room there still, where we ship beer directly to the we have it sold.
But you said it was shitty.
My
Whatever.
main question here is, what
sorry. I just was
does
a good listener, and I was
financially
wrong, and I
stable
don't
mean? That's a word I
ship.
don't understand.
All right, I'm gonna answer Tiffany first. We control the shipping now.
Right.
So a lot of American craft beer that has been shipped over to Europe over the past 10 or 20 years was being done through contractors on non-refrigerated ships and containers, and it was bad. So we control all of the export now. Because we have bicoastal breweries in the U.S., it's a lot easier for us to direct ship, especially to China, because most of the shipping comes out of the San Diego brewery, and most of the United States beer comes out of Richmond.
Yeah.
And then to answer your question, financially stable. So like when we opened in Virginia, when we opened our the brewery and tasting room here in Virginia, it was all done with equity rather than having to finance it, from what I understand. Now I'm speaking from a bottom tier employee here, but from all of the things that I've been told and understand about Stone, it was all done with strong financial backing, that we already had equity built in the company, and we didn't have to go out on a limb and pray that it worked, and then eventually have to move out.
And I think for me, I would just imagine any brewery that's in the black is financially doing well, because it's such a up and down market and can rely on so many things. Like, I mean, we had the pandemic this year. Like, good Lord, you didn't have large scale distribution and you were a craft brewer. Like, what the hell were you doing? You know, like, how did you survive? So,
and Stone took such good care of all of us during the pandemic. I mean, instead of putting us on furlough, they paid for us to go to school and get Microsoft certified and a bunch of different applications in case we weren't. They really invested in the employees rather than taking from it, and it just made all of us feel like we really mattered to the company, and they didn't turn our backs on us at all.
That is awesome. That is incredible. Yeah, I just didn't understand the term financial responsibility or whatever it was. So I just
financially stable.
That's just not something in my life that I know it means.
Well, we're aware.
I think we're all working toward it. I'm still.
This is the guy with the Bob Ross glass.
Hey,
That's my glass.
that's her glass.
This is a Phil.
Mine
Phil
has
Collins.
Punxsutawney Phil and Bill Murray driving in a vehicle together.
Well, I think it's time that we,
All right. So this week's going to be a little bit different because we have Melissa with us.
Also.
Oh yeah, she did give us a very nice church tea as well. So thank you. Um,
Oh my god, and it literally has the gargoyle thing in the back. I could have cheated on so many things and I just didn't do it.
I'm pretty sure that's a devil, not a gargoyle.
no,
right?
shut up.
Is that?
The hell you say?
All right. So this week's going to be a little bit different because we were able to get Melissa. Melissa's close with us, so we were able to get 2 different beers, one for me, one for Tiffany. And then Phil actually found one as well that he's going to check in that he's never had. So some of the check-in process is going to be a little bit different this week, but we'll keep it as consistent as possible on the website and through Untappd. So I actually want to start with Phil's beer because Tiffany and I both had that one, and I love that beer, and I'd love to hear some more about it.
Oh, how's it taste?
I'll get in there in a second.
Yeah, right.
I'd love to know if anyone else is drinking Stone. Just let us know in the comments which one you're drinking.
Let us know. And
All right,
Melissa
so-
will probably have an answer.
I am drinking well, I can't read it because it's upside down. The Stone Fear Movie Long, or Fuck My Life, as I called it, the Dubbel IPA.
Yeah.
Tell me about this beer as I taste it, and then I will let you know what I think.
So, Fear Movie Lions is what it's called.
Fear Movie Lions. Okay.
Yeah, Fear Movie Lions.
I was way off.
He's been drinking.
Yeah.
So Fear Movie Lions is a double IPA, and it is the Stone nod to the New England Hazy. It is about as close at that time period that Stone was going to get to Hazy or New England.
Mhm.
So it's got a little bit more of a juicy characteristic to it. You definitely find some fruit qualities in there, I think. I usually get some mango on it. So Fear Movie Lions is really cool because it is the first recipe that was truly adopted by the whole company of Stone from Richmond. So it's an East Coast born and bred beer. None of the other beers that we have been, innovated in Richmond. So this is it. And the cool thing about the name, it's got sort of this long story, but to cut it short, there's an app called What 3 Words. And a couple of guys in California decided that it sucked trying to find their friends in concerts or trying to find their car after leaving an amusement park or whatever. And they thought, we could probably revolutionize this by having an app and using an algorithm with coordinates to establish 3 American words with every 3 square meters on the planet. So in this app, What 3 Words, you can you download the app, create an account or whatever. It's free, I think. And you can like click on exactly where you're sitting. And there are 3 words that will be associated unique to exactly where you're sitting. And so Fear Movie Lions is where the canning line is in Richmond.
Nice. So that's what came up through the app. Fear Movie Lions.
Yeah. So Greg found this app. Greg Cook found this app and thought it was really cool. And so what's nice about it, like I said, with concerts, like if you're meeting your friends at a music festival and there's 40,000 people there, and you have the app, you can just send your friend these 3 words, and then they can find you within like a 3 meter square.
Interesting.
That is actually
Okay.
Cool.
And so if you look at Stone's websites, on all of our locations, all of our tasting rooms throughout the country, our different breweries, underneath our physical address, you'll actually see a What 3 Words address as well.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's called What 3 Words. I'm now reading on the upside down can, which is obviously my next question. Why the hell is this can upside down?
So that was a marketing campaign that we did at the end of 2020 called Leave No Stone Unturned.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a whole thing about sediment and beer and clarity, and you can tip the beer all the way upside down and pour it out without, whatever. But it's over now, thank God, and we don't have to talk about it anymore.
Okay, we'll move on. My next my question that you might be able to actually then answer is, and what makes this an unfiltered? Like, what's unfiltered, filtered? I don't know anything, so I'm going to make you answer it.
Yeah.
Why is it an unfiltered double IPA?
So unfiltered gives it a heavier mouthfeel, and it
Love
kinda,
a good mouthfeel.
Yes, and it can also be a little more filling sometimes, but it can, add to the flavor of it, and it's mostly just like a physical effect that people like. The whole New England hazy. So hazy beers are unfiltered. Beer is an organic. It's a living thing, and so if it's unfiltered, then you're still going to find some yeast particles in there, probably. Generally speaking,
Right.
The thing about our beer and being unfiltered, if it comes out of RVA, is that we have a centrifuge. We can't bypass the centrifuge, but we can bypass the filtration system, and so the centrifuge gets out 98% of any sediment that is residual after the brewing process. So we can have a difficult time achieving the hazy, unfiltered aspect of beers when we're trying to do that, which is why that's
usually when you get like an unfiltered, like you said, you do get a lot more like a collection of garbage in the bottom of it. That once you get down, but you know what I mean, though, like it's like the makings of it, but
it's gas juice, man. That's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna eat all that yeast and have all the gas later.
Meanwhile, I'm over here drinking kombucha on the regular, and I'm like, it's fine. Just kind of stir it in a little.
Both of these can cause an effect. I'm not impressed.
Yeah.
So I noticed you keep calling it a hazy, but I don't see the word hazy on the can, and I don't feel like it's very hazy. So Is it hazy or is it not hazy?
No, that's what she was saying.
The initial name of it was Fear Movie Line. Like it was a intent at the beginning. It was a New England style hazy IPA.
Okay.
If I'm being honest with you, I avoid talking about it much because of the ridiculously long story that everyone always wants me to go into about what 3 words and downloading the app and why the can's upside down. And I'm just like,
all right, I've asked you all
delicious.
the basic bitch questions. Great.
Do you want to drink it?
Cheers. Here you go.
So that's the real question, Phil. What do you think of it?
Am I giving my score? Am I talking about it now?
Yeah,
sure. We're moving on. It's fantastic. I loved
all the jackass questions, and that's where we're at.
It's
all the jackass questions.
Yeah.
Hey, if I have questions about it, it's probably because I like it a lot. It's like
I love the questions. I do.
Yeah, I will say. So when you mentioned like the juicy, the New England, that I get that in it, but then I like that it's so subtle about that. Mm-hmm. So like this, it's strong, so I can't drink too many. I will try, but I can't. But yeah, I think it's just a great, clean, nice beer. I mean, there's no overwhelming flavors that make you not want to drink it again. It's really nice. So
awesome. I'm glad you like it.
So should I score it? We got to keep moving, right?
Go ahead, Phil.
4.25 for me.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So that's the same for all of us, because Tiffany and I have had that beer as well, and we both rated it 4.25 as well.
Yep.
That's great. Awesome.
Yeah, I think it's a great beer.
Melissa, you sound like we're grading your homework.
Yay!
Yay! She got 4 stars.
Well, I'm checking this one in next, so get ready.
Okay, what is that one?
I have no idea. No.
All right, so the 3 we are all drinking tonight, we will show that before to let everyone know. These are the 3. And because I spent time making this graphic.
Look at it, damn it.
So we are drinking the Fear Movie Lions, the Buena Neveza.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Great name. And then the Dayfall.
And so
which one are you drinking?
I'm having the Belgian White, the Dayfall, which is interesting to me because I've already drank half of it because, good Lord, Phil, I didn't realize it took you that long to talk about your beer.
Well, this is good.
It is. It's fantastic. So I'm not a huge Belgian White fan personally. It's not
I guess I'll be leaving.
Yeah, it's not. It's not my go-to. Like I'm a little darker. No, by the way. So back to the beer. I think the orange aspect of most Belgian beers is my issue. I'm not a big orange fan, so like never been a big Blue Moon fan, and the more popular like variations of this beer.
Not usually the wheat variant of a beer. Not your jam.
It's not my jam. This one's pretty clean
It is.
and extremely smooth. I don't get much orange out of it, which is great.
Oh, see, usually
For me?
with the wheat, I usually get that banana flavor. That's like with the
This is the Belgian white.
I know. I'm just saying. So usually I get banana flavor. I'm not a big banana flavor fan.
Oh my god.
I like this one, and I can definitely taste the orange in it. And it's not.
No way.
So sometimes the orange tends to be almost like an orange peel flavor, and it's like almost bitter. This one's great. It's not.
I know bitter, and this is not that either.
Yeah. Right.
Well, the question I have, because I haven't talked in a while, is it better than Blue Moon? Because
Yes.
I did read a lot of Untappd reviews that claim it's very similar to Blue Moon. So I'm wondering, is it better?
I would disagree because I'm not a big. I don't like Blue Moon. I never have, and
Tell Lucy I say hi.
and I could
Yes,
I could drink this
yes.
any day of the week.
Lucy, you're live. You're not a pet.
Sorry, the
Who's that?
family's joining me real quick.
Oh my God, Lucy!
Lucy!
You look like a creeper from All Get Out.
Hi, Bailey.
So
Sorry,
Lucy-
this is a 21 and over show.
right. Oh no, she's fine.
It's okay, you kid.
Tiffany and Daniel, you're the best. I love you. Phil, you seem great.
Hey, I'll take it. I like them.
Sorry, Phil, you were talking about Blue Moon.
Sorry.
and-
Yeah, I actually do think this is better than Blue Moon. Not because I don't like Blue Moon, or because I don't like Blue Moon, but I think this has a little less orange on the front end of it, which is great for me. So I get more of the actual beer out of this and less of the fruit out of it, which is nice for me. So
How is the mouthfeel? Is it soapy?
I don't like the word.
What? My face is gonna get real close to the screen.
That's why I put the text up, just the main part of it.
So I don't like
Great
the word
texture.
soapy because I feel like no matter how you phrase that, it's a negative connotation.
Right. So like mouth coating, sure. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess it's not like a heavier or thicker beer, if that makes sense. And that's kind of what I consider mouth coating. Coriander.
There is
I can
coriander for
taste that.
sure.
Yeah, and said citrus forward. But like soapy, and maybe it's because my mother loved me and didn't put soap in my mouth when I was a kid. Like I don't understand if that's like a thing.
My parents didn't spank me. You know.
I mean, I grew up in California, so I mean, it was a lot of like eat this granola.
You got spanked in different ways then.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I would give this 3.5 personally. So my goal to check in beers is always to compare beer against beer, not if I like the beer individually.
Beer overall, yeah.
Right. So as a Belgian white, this is fantastic.
Still not your jam though.
Still not my jam though. It's not going to get 4 1/4 stars or bottle caps. Sorry.
Oh, right, bottle caps.
Yeah.
And Tiffany, you had this one too. What
I did just try it. So I'm gonna be. I grade my beers.
You don't have time to check in multiple beers.
Okay, I graded it similar to Daniel in the fact that I graded against its peers of other wheats or Belgian whites. I rate this one a 4 because I feel like it is much better than the other ones I've had. Okay, so I'm drinking the Buena Besa. So this is basically like my
Me too. Cheers.
right.
Yeah.
Cheers. So this one is
like a Bud Light lime?
no, this
No.
one is 100% like I just need some street tacos and I am like the happiest person ever. That's really that's how I'm going to describe this to everyone. Is you just go get yourself some tacos, get yourself a Buena Besa, and you're good. Because it's definitely got like that hint of lime, kind of like the hint of lime chips. Like it's an exciting type of beer. It's an exciting chip. And like slightly salty. I mean, it's got a salt and lime thing. But it's good. It's very good. I like it. It's
This one's really interesting to me because, and Melissa, I think this is something that we had talked about previously, is between the Belgian and even the Buena Besa, which is not a beer I expected Stone to make, and I don't really recognize a lot of the labeling.
Mhm.
Like, why are these beers different than what I normally see on the shelf of Stone?
Yeah. So we as a brewery our intent is to stand out, right? We do things with intent and purpose. And so for the last 24 years, we've been putting out the biggest, baddest IPAs and stouts that you can get on the market. And they're always really good quality, taste great, big ABV, and having some time to deliberate about what our next like big intentional move would be. I think we decided that we were going to go after some categories that craft hasn't been able to really break into. So
like a light lager.
So in the Mexican lager category, there are only about 8 beers that take up that entire beer category, which amounts for billions of dollars in sales every year.
Right.
So if you split those I think it's like $8.2 billion or something crazy like that. If you split that up over just a few brands, if we can come in and more strategically place ourselves in the market with those beers and help the Corona consumer or the Modelo consumer try some craft beer at their price point, not ours, then that makes it that much more relevant, and we're getting better beer to more people, and we're able to reach a whole different demographic. And we're doing the same thing with Dayfall. I mean, you know, there's Shock Top, there's Blue Moon,
right?
And then you have some really great craft, you know, some really great craft Belgian wits, like Allagash White is freaking phenomenal, but they're in a completely different price category. And so the whole goal is to make an affordable craft beer that lands on the shelf in the grocery store next to those macro brands, so that we can, instead of cannibalizing more craft dollars, because craft dollars are craft dollars, right? Craft consumers know what they're looking for. They know what they like for the most part. So now what we want to do is we want to start cannibalizing those dollars from the macros. We want to make sure that we're getting craft beer that's good and authentic craft beer into the hands of everyone, including the people that are looking for the 6-pack.
Interesting.
So with that being said, I compare this to Corona, like Dos Equis, Modelo, kind of like that. Where do I want to be drinking when I'm at a Mexican restaurant or eating street tacos, or want to reminisce about eating street tacos because I can't find any good ones in Virginia? I shouldn't say that. There's actually
that's all of the East Coast. Just nothing.
That's just gonna be what it's gonna be.
So, and this is like a standard thing for everyone from California, is like all you do is complain about the Mexican food. That's not false. Anyway, long story short, this is like, if this was available on tap versus any of the other Mexican beers that you usually would find at like a Mexican restaurant, 100% every time would pick this over it, because it is a really clean flavor. It's not going to overpower your like heavily spiced Mexican food or detract from any of those flavors.
And you don't have to get your finger sticky with the lime.
It's already in there.
Right.
How is the lime, by the way, the lime flavoring in there? Is it artificially lime, or that's a question for Tiffany first, and then I want to know the actual answer from
I want to hear hers first before I answer.
I assume it's like actual limes, like they just throw a buttload of limes in there.
Not a chance. It's genetically altered limes.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got like the true lemon packets that are like dehydrated lemon slices, and
it's actually just it's the lime salt that they give you on airplanes. You know, that's how I got the lime salty.
Just
flavor.
whole vats of it.
Yeah.
That's why it's lime and salt.
Right.
Is it actual lime, Melissa?
Yeah, it's real lime.
Now, when does that lime go in?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Don't,
I got questions.
Brewer.
I would guess. No, I mean, based on what I know about brewing, I would say that the lime probably goes in
Before or after the coconut?
The lime and the coconut. Well, I
okay.
had to go through the song really quick to make sure that I was
Right. I had to think it out loud.
I would guess, like in the whirlpool.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
But you know, you never know.
And it's
But-
just like one guy squeezing limes into it, just sitting there.
Yes.
No,
Okay.
so the cool thing about, and one thing that is worth mentioning, and not everybody can pick it out. So most of the time when people talk about citrus, they're talking about juice. But in, sorry, that's my dog. He's senile and old. Most people are talking about juice, but what's cool about Buena Vista is that you're getting the lime zest. And so it's a little bit more of that bitterness. It's almost like it's like the oils of the lime rather than the juice of the lime.
Tiffany, this might be why you like it, because it's a little more bitter, which is like the flavor palette that you like. I'm learning.
I mean, have you met Daniel?
We're both
Okay,
into bitter.
So hold on,
Yeah.
before we jump to the next segment or detract from my current line of thinking.
My hands are up. I won't click anything.
I promised viewers last week and on Instagram and on like whatever else I talked about this week, we would talk about whatever beer they were drinking. So Vero has the delicious IPA. Anyone else who's drinking,
Yes.
comment what you're drinking, and let's really fast go through kind of what's going on with your beer, because I want to make sure that everyone's got a chance to talk about what they're drinking.
Look,
I
I know,
have to
I know this is surprising, but I have a question.
Yes.
Delicious IPA versus
It's delicious.
regular IPA versus double IPA. Where are we sitting with this delicious
Oh
IPA?
no, there's a lot of differences.
Delicious is like a really high, not quite double IPA.
Correct.
So it's a high ABV IPA. It's not quite in the double category. But
like
the
a 1.5? What are we talking here?
So it's 7.9%.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's less than 8. Yeah.
It's just under 8.
So is 8 qualify as double?
8 between 8 and 8.5.
Okay.
usually. And the cool thing about Delicious is that it is celiac safe and gluten free.
Gluten-free.
We poured delicious IPA during the pumpkin.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
when we did the music
So,
thing.
I don't know, for anybody that's watching, I broke my foot the morning of the Pumpkin Drublic Music Festival.
Yes.
And thank God Tiffany and Daniel love beer so much, because I called them at like 6:30 in the morning and said, "Can you please drive
Oh my
to
God.
Richmond and
Again.
pour this beer for me?"
It was right after we had just seen Sum 41 the night before.
Oh yeah,
So I was so hungover.
2 beer Tiffany's already hung over, and then we're gonna go pour beer for other people all day.
And I thought I just sprained it. Tiffany walks in my kitchen. She's like, "That's broken."
Yeah.
You go get it off.
I was like, "You need to go to the doctor now." And she's like, "I think it's fine." I walked on it, and I was like, "No, ma'am, you do not." Like
So,
you.
but that being said, we poured a shit ton of delicious IPA,
Scorpion
Scorpion
Bowl.
Bowl, Tangerine Express.
Tangerine Express was good.
Yes.
Draft update, Trevor Lawrence. Thank you, Josh Hendricks. You have hurt me today.
So Vero says it is quite sweet at first, and then it has a bitter finish, like a citrus peel. Is that?
Oh, I was
Yep.
gonna say
So
like
the
my first
sweetness
beer.
comes from the higher alcohol percentage. Most beers that get up around 8%, you're going to get a little bit of it's almost like a caramel type sweetness to it. And what we do with Delicious and the malts that we use really tries to prevent the caramel part, but you're always going to get a little bit of more of a sweeter like front end on it because of the higher alcohol content.
That makes sense.
Well, we've been requested to do a gluten-free beer show, so this might join that list.
So I won't give you all of the answers, but you should research the enzyme that all of the breweries are using to break down the gluten proteins in the beer to make them gluten-free.
Is it cocaine?
Yes. Oh no!
Knew it.
Oh.
VBC used to do one. Red and Dry was used the same enzyme that Delicious uses, and there's quite a few others on the market, and they're almost always super solid beers, and it doesn't change the taste profile at all. And so it's like it's revolutionary in that you're drinking an IPA that tastes like an IPA, but that's not going to mess up your gut if you're gluten intolerant.
Yep.
Isn't
really cool.
Omission Brewery aren't they like notorious for all of their gluten free?
Omission had one of the first gluten ones that I remember seeing on the shelf.
I want to say that almost all of their beers are gluten free, and more than once I've picked it up and been like, "Oh no, it's a gluten free beer," and then like it wasn't bad.
Right.
Like it was like, "Oh, it's a beer."
Well, I'll go ahead and just break that because I think I checked in Omission's first gluten-free beer at a terrible rating. You can go through my Untappd. I don't think I was a fan.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
Could have just been the beer though, not the gluten.
Did we get a score from Tiffany or?
We did.
4. I said 4.
Good. I'm here.
I know.
That double IPA, Phil.
How's that Fear Movie Lions, bro?
It's going well, you know.
And you had another double before that, right?
I don't think that we need to let everyone know that. You know, we're doing great. So we're now moving on, I guess, right? Are we good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to check in before I interrupt someone, and normally that someone is.
So naturally, this is a part of the show every week where we just pick something from either the week, our daily lives, politics, culture, whatever you want it to be, that you wish was actually beer versus what it is. And my favorite is to let Phil go first because I think he's generally unprepared for this segment.
I'm very prepared this week, actually.
I'm so proud of you, Phil.
I know. I thought about it. I had a long drive to think about it, which is part of it.
True.
So what I wish was actually beer. I'm just going to go first. I'm going in. I wish tolls were beer. Yeah. Because here's the thing. So I live in New York City, do not have a car, have to rent a car every time I go somewhere. Oh. So I'm driving. I go out to Massachusetts this week for a few days off, get out of the city for a bit. And when you rent a car, they are like, do you want the toll pass? And I'm like, yeah. Do I want the toll pass? You look at it, it's $22 a day to have this toll pass. Now in my head, I'm counting the tolls in my head because I've driven to Boston many times. I'm going, there's like one here. There's one when I get on the Mass Pike. I get one when I go on and I get one when I go off. I don't think I'm going up to a 22. So I'll take the fine, whatever they hit me with. So they hit you with $15 per toll plus the toll cost.
Right.
So I'm doing math. I'm going to have this car for a week. So $22 a day for a week. That I think I'm better off hitting that fine.
No.
Well, I also know the routes to go because you can put in Google to not have tolls. It just takes you longer. So I'm like,
right, yeah, you just end up in Deliverance. Yeah, good.
Well, so it's only 30 minutes longer to go toll route or to go non-toll route. So I'm like saving some money. Sure. Then I look at the time. I got somewhere to be. So I'm like, shit, I'm going to have to plow through some tolls.
I have to take the tolls.
Yeah. And I'm like thinking, well, there's one here, there's one here. Now, back in my day, the Mass Pike, which you Southerners don't understand this, but the Mass Pike, you go through and you get on, you hit a toll, and when you get off, they charge you for however long you've been on for.
Correct. It's very similar to the Jersey Turnpike, how it used to be.
I don't know what you're talking about. We're talking about the Mass Pike here. So I get on thinking that's going to be fine, $15. Maybe they'll hit me twice if they count it twice, $30. But then I'm not hitting up any tolls for the rest of the time I'm on this drive. So I'm driving down the Mass Pike going, I'm doing great. This is only going to be $30. Bam, toll. What the hell was that? I go, because they're all automated now. Yeah. It goes 25 cents.
Like the oldest man ever.
I'm like, what is this 25-cent toll? And then I drive another 10 minutes. Bam, another toll. I'm going, what is that 25-cent toll? So now I hit the third one after like 10 miles. And I still got like 200 miles left to go. So I'm like, this is going to be a lot of tolls. So I get off the highway because now I've hit 3. So I'm already over my toll
limit.
So it's 15 per toll plus like the 25 cents for every single one of them. But if I had a beer for every one of those tolls, I would have just kept driving.
Which not recommended. We do not recommend drinking.
No. Unless it's that 2%er you were having at Virginia Beer Company.
And even then it can end poorly, trust me.
So that is what I wish was beer because I wouldn't have been so pissed off during my drive.
Fair enough.
So enjoy.
Oh, I figured I'd go last.
No,
Mine's kind of a long one.
Should we just challenge Melissa? Because she's stuck around.
Yes. Melissa, you're up. What do you wish was actually beer?
So it's fantastic because it piggybacks right off the tolls. I wish gas was beer.
Yeah.
To hell with the gas. It is the worst thing ever. So I spend a ridiculous amount of time in the car. I cover half of North Carolina and the eastern half of Virginia, and I get gas so often, which is a great statement in hindsight.
I was gonna say,
Just clip it and put it on the internet, and it's gonna be so good.
Claiming gas.
But
So that's what that should do.
oh my god, it's like my new slogan. If I go viral, just saying I get gas all the time.
It's gonna be our Instagram post. It's gonna be that on repeat.
Make it real. No, but it's just such a ridiculous task. It's you have to pull off the interstate and think, like, because it varies so much. You miss one, you're paying 10 cents more a mile down the road. And then that 10 cents might not matter in the big picture, but right then, when you are trying to get the deal on gas, it is shitty. And then you have to get out of the car and figure out how to use that gas station's buttons and shit because everybody.
You gotta lift the handle up. Sometimes you don't.
Well, yes, right. It's like, do you lift the handle? Do you have to leave the card in, or do I do it quickly? Please.
Right.
Are you in New Jersey? Can you pump your own gas?
Oh, I was just about to talk about New Jersey gas because I am so angry about that.
You can't stop it there. You can't stop it in New Jersey. But luckily, I don't have to go to New Jersey for work.
Luckily, that is a sentence we all say all the time, always.
Literally, I've never had to go to
Thank
New
God we
Jersey.
don't have to go to Jersey. No.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, I wish gas were beer.
Oh, amen. Yes.
Cheers to that. I'm not out of beer because I milked it.
Good. I think you should go next because mine's going to be 2 seconds. And
Okay. So as I mentioned earlier, this was a terrible week for me. So Daniel and I almost never fight. We got in a fight on Sunday.
whoa.
Monday morning, I woke up and my phone wasn't working and I need my phone for work. So I'm like freaking out. I have to go into work. And like I use Waze all the time to find out where I'm going, which is stupid because I literally go to the same like 8 places all the time. I'm so boring. So I don't have GPS. Like I'm like, what if I get in an accident? Like this is the first time I've been driving without a phone since forever. Because my mom got me a phone at 16 because she was like, you'll need this. So anyway, I'm driving to work. I can't do anything at work. So I finally am like, I'm gonna go to T-Mobile. They'll figure out what's going on with my phone. They're like, we can't fix it. You need a new one. And I'm like, great. Well, the iPhone 12 is out. I guess I'm just going to drop $1,000 on a phone. So before noon on Monday, I'd already spent $1,000. And then I get a phone call from my car, which is in the shop. And they're like, hey, guess what? Like your car's ready. Here's the bill. And it's $1.9 grand. So
1.9 grand sounds like million.
Right,
I think
right.
it's just $1,900.
$1,900 and some change. So just shy of $2,000 to get my car out of the shop. So by like 3 on Monday, I have now spent $3,000 for the week. And then, God, what else happened this week? Today I wore a white suit to work and I went to go get a Starbucks and I was like carrying it and like the top like was off, like it wasn't on all the way, so I like squeezed it a little bit too hard, and so there was like coffee all over my hand. I burnt my hand, and I'm in a white suit. Luckily, it wasn't like cream or anything, so I'm sure I can take it to the dry cleaners and then get it out. I really hope because it's new. Anyway, so I got like coffee on my like person, so it's on my suit. So I had to like go back to my house to get a different coffee cup to pour that coffee into because I couldn't possibly carry around like a soppy and wet Starbucks cup. And I'm running late for a client meeting that I'm running. I broke a nail this week. Which it doesn't seem that bad, but it was like bleeding. It was like a really bad break.
It was like a broken nail.
Like it was like halfway down the quick.
Right.
I don't know what else.
I'm just picturing you in an all white suit with your gorgeous hair, and I'm just picturing like Saturday Night Fever of just like you walking down the street, like bouncing around, like.
Right. It was to represent all my women before and after.
Amazing.
Yeah, no, I killed it. I have also like a green suit, like an olive green suit.
Do you have that clip we normally play, or are
no,
we still going?
No.
Or
anyway,
I'm trying to be better, and I'm trying to not play the offensive clips that.
Anyway, and then tomorrow we're putting my 13-year-old dog down.
Oh my God! Phil, you played that right before that.
God, that is a terrible.
So I wish this damn week was beer because it has friggin' sucked. And I promise that's not what we're
Cheers
get
to all
on this,
of
that's all I'm gonna say. So anyway, Daniel, you're up. Cheers to everybody and my 13-year-old dog.
Good luck following that, Daniel.
Oh, mine's.
He knew what was coming.
Yeah,
so
I knew
was
it was
I'll just
coming.
go
That's why I was
last.
like, go. But I knew yours was going to be
Don't we all?
13 minutes. Mine's very easy. I wish my 28-foot ladder at work was beer, so it'd be way easier to pick up and carry around because it kicked my ass today.
He did do a lot of
There you go.
roof work.
Over with. And that's all.
That's
That's
it.
all I'm gonna say about that.
That's it.
That's it. No, but that being said, I have to use the bathroom. I'm going to pee in my pants. This is the longest show we've ever had. So will y'all both please thank Melissa and talk about what
I
we're
just
having
have
next
one
week?
request before the show's over.
What's
Yeah,
that?
go ahead. I got this. Go.
Can you bring your 20-foot ladder to my house and help me take our Christmas lights down?
Yes, ma'am.
It is literally almost May.
You
Go fast.
know that
I
doesn't
know.
hurt my
Well,
head.
look, Will usually helps, and Lucy lives at VBC, and I just don't want to do it by myself because I'll die probably.
I have a regular blue ladder. I think it's like 8-9 feet. It's
I'm
not
kidding.
very-
We have a ladder, and I can do it. It would just the 20-foot ladder thing. Is
Tell you what,
Christmas lights
you
are still in my
have
house.
that case and/or sixels on hand. Daniel can come over with his ladder, and you and me can sit in the backyard and enjoy some food.
Win. And then-
Melissa, thank you so much for coming on our show tonight.
Thanks for having me, guys. This is fun.
Yes, you'll have to come back maybe on our gluten-free episode when we'll talk about delicious IPA, which I'm very interested in now because I didn't know
Definitely.
about it.
Well, we'll have to have Lucy. VBC does one, so we'll have to have Lucy and I can tag team because we're almost as funny as Tiffany and Daniel together.
We can just get rid of them. Just start a new show. You know,
Hey.
that's the Monday night podcast. That's Phil and Melissa.
Rocket League was Monday.
Oh, Rocket League's Monday. Maybe we'll do
There's
a
a
Monday
weird one on
morning.
Tuesdays or something.
Something like that.
Yeah. Anyway,
Oh,
no,
my
it's
gosh.
been fantastic, Melissa. I'm so glad that you let us con you into this because this has been great.
You guys are great. Thank
And
you so
everyone
much.
go follow Stone Brewing Mel B on Instagram because
Just naturally.
it's just such a good name.
Yes.
Oh,
We
well,
also
everyone,
did
and follow
Not
us on
there.
Instagram. I have a thing for it, which I'll put up while I talk. So thank you, everyone, for watching tonight's show with Stone Brewing. We were so excited to have this. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like, share it. What else we got? I'm struggling at this point. I've had a lot.
Phil, what are we going to do next week?
Oh my gosh, there's a what are we doing next week? Next week we got a beer drop one, which we are doing called Tamarind. Oh man, someone else is gonna have to read this
Tamarind
one.
is the brewery. Oh no,
Tamarind-
Spice Trade Brewing Company. I thought the Tamarind
No,
was, nope,
it's-
just kidding.
No, it's Tamarind Belgian Dubbel. I'm going with Dubbel.
You
That's
go
what we're
now.
calling
Please don't go Double.
No,
No.
it's not Dubbel. It's Double.
No.
What is it then? From
Double.
Spice Trade Brewing Company. This is a beer drop beer that we got this month. We're very excited about, apparently, and I'm excited about it.
So yeah,
So
I'm
that's
excited about that.
next week. If anyone can find it, we know we are late to the game of letting you know about which one this is, but we're gonna get better. We've got a lot. I actually have some beers in the future. I think we're gonna get a lot scheduled soon. My goal is to get really like a month out so people have time to find these beers.
If
So
you want
that's
more
it.
beer reps, let me know.
Always.
Yeah.
I got the plug on that.
Yeah, that's
I would hope so, but you know.
Vero's still here. She's clapping for the show. So that's
Also, I'm
fantastic.
sorry that it's hard for you to get the visa. That sucks.
It's a whole
I wish that
other
was here
thing.
as well.
Yeah.
Good
Well,
luck.
let's leave on that fun note.
Without putting the dog down.
Dog down, Visa. What else can we do? We got anything else? My credit card bill after those tolls.
Don't forget about the Christmas lights.
Melissa, thank you so much for coming on tonight. You are definitely coming back because we have so many more stones to try. And everyone, thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, share. Anything else? Does anyone have anything else to say? No, you don't?